Hello and welcome to the program. I am Deji Badimasi, and we want to thank you very much for joining us. So wherever you're watching, wherever you are in this country or outside the country, this is Politics Today. And tonight we're talking about something you would not want to associate with politics, but something that has everything to do with politics. As a matter of fact, it's been the major topic in the country now over the past week, and well, give or take, whether or not you like it, it's going to continue to be the topic in this country. You know, the main issue of discuss now until we probably get into the new year. We're talking about the nation's 2012 budget. We do not know when the lawmakers would pass the budget. Of course, when the president went to the National Assembly on Tuesday to present it, remember, the president of the Senate made a categorical statement that the lawmakers would ensure the budget gets a speedy passage. That same tone was echoed by the Speaker of the House of Representatives as well, that the budget will get a very speedy passage. Now, could there be a relationship between budget and politics? I would say yes, and that's the reason we're discussing the nation's 2012 budget today, because as we speak in the country today, every other issue, whether political or otherwise, has been subjugated to the background. You know, everything is about the budget. So as I told you, on Tuesday the 13th of December, the president went to the National Assembly to present the 2012 budget. Presented a budget of 4.749 trillion naira. Quite a huge sum of money. Let us take a look at this report now that captured when the president went to the National Assembly to make that presentation.
President Goodluck Jonathan making his way into the House of Representatives chamber to present the 2012 budget estimates to federal lawmakers. He's received by the Senate President, Senator David Mark, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Aminu Tambuwal. With members of his cabinet observing, the President proceeded to give an overview of the 2012 budget with the theme Fiscal Consolidation, Inclusive Growth and Job Creation.
Government is determined to pursue policies that will ensure a stable macroeconomic environment through a strong and prudent fiscal policy, manageable deficits, sustainable debt to GDP ratio of no more than 30%, and single-digit inflation, thereby promoting real growth.
The president then gave a breakdown which he says shows a gradual increase in capital expenditure with a corresponding decrease in recurrent expenditure.
I am pleased to note, however, that the declining share of capital is being reversed, so it will account for about 28% of total expenditure in 2012 compared to 26% in 2011. Recurrent expenditure in the 2012 budget proposal is 72%, down from 74.4% in 2011.
The budget proposal has 2.47 trillion naira for recurrent non-debt expenditure, 560 billion naira for debt service, 1.32 trillion naira for capital expenditure, and 398 billion naira for statutory transfers. Allocation to some critical sectors include 921.91 billion naira for security, 161.42 billion naira for power, 282.77 billion naira for health, while education has 400.15 billion naira. Lawmakers, however, noted that poor implementation has always hindered past budgets.
Unfortunately, the implementation has not matched the words, as economic policies often lack continuity and projects are needlessly discarded or abandoned.
The sheer number of uncompleted and mostly abandoned projects and programs in this country boggles the mind. It is the single most obvious sign of shoddy government implementation of the national budget over the years.
The lawmakers have also pledged to ensure that the budget is passed on time despite its late presentation by the president. Nigerians on their part will look forward to see if this budget will indeed be a budget of transformation. Lanre Lasisi. Channels Television News.
Well, that's what the president called it, a budget of transformation, and Nigerians are actually waiting to see if the budget indeed will be a budget of transformation. But fact is, there's something that's not contained in that budget, and a very topical issue, that is the issue of subsidy. The president has not hidden his desire to remove fuel subsidy, what we call petrol subsidy in the country. It says it's not good for us, and to make good his words, the president did not include fuel subsidy. There was no provision for fuel subsidy in that budget. And so when the lawmakers now started debating the budget just 48 hours after that presentation, the issue of oil subsidy came up in the debate. Let us take a look at this.
48 hours after President Goodluck Jonathan presented the 2012 budget proposal to the National Assembly, lawmakers have been dissecting the budget by looking at who gets what and why in the appropriation bill. The budgetary allocation to security was a major source of concern to some lawmakers who wondered why 921 billion naira was allocated for security when the country is not at war.
This security sector is spending 1/3 of what we're investing in education, about 4 times of what is going into health. And if you take the Ministry of Works at current budgetary figures, 5 years to spend all of that money.
Taking the position of the Nigeria Labour Congress, some lawmakers said the federal government should have addressed the underlying causes of insecurity in the country instead of allocating huge funds to the sector.
We are having security challenges today because over the years we did not plan for this generation to create employment.
Some of the lawmakers were also concerned that there is an absence of a clear roadmap in the budget as to how funds would be spent. Some lawmakers even said there was nothing on ground in some sectors to justify funds allocated in the 2011 budget.
With the probable exception of the Federal Minister of Agriculture that has articulated a transformation plan into which this money is going to be put, whereby Nigerians can know exactly what to expect from this sector. Virtually all the key economic sectors do not have any roadmap that can be a basis for performance measurement.
I opposed the provision of 50 billion naira for employment in the 2011 budget because I said at that time that you don't create employment by providing just money, say, for employment. Today, sir, there is nobody from the executive who told me the number of people that got job after spending this money.
Senate President David Mark adjourned the debate till next Tuesday when more lawmakers would give their views on the 2012 budget. Linda Akigbe, Channels Television News.
Well, not surprising there at all that, the issue of security generated a lot of reaction there because security, as a matter of fact, got the highest sectoral vote. As a matter of fact, it got 921.91 billion naira. But the lawmakers actually spoke about subsidy. Unfortunately, we do not have that report at the moment. But in the House of Representatives, the issue of subsidy also came up. And let me just say this, that shortly after the president presented that budget, well, you heard Linda talking about the reaction of the NLC. What did the NLC say? Well, the NSL said the budget is a disaster waiting to happen. First is that, the NSL thinks it was wrong for the president to have removed subsidy, not to have budgeted for subsidy anyway. The House of Representatives took up the issue. I want us to take a listen now to the spokesperson of the House, what he has to say about the reaction of the NLC and the issue of the issue of subsidy.
The House of Representatives has not endorsed subsidy removal. And we're saying that we have not brought it to fore. And these issues will come up when the budget is here. If we don't believe in it, we have taken a decision we are not taking out subsidy, definitely subsidy will have to be in the budget. It has to be in the budget. And that's the thing. The House of Representatives still stands on that fact. that we are not voting for subsidy removal because there are key indicators that we have said. We have given those conditions. Even you have had a number of our members, even through the city, they have expressed what the House is talking about. That it's not for us to take everything hook, line, and sinker. We'll look at each of these sectors according to their merits. And I've hinted you and said, defense shouldn't take as much as that, almost $1 trillion. And we believe it's on the high side. And that defense, we can take out from some parts of defense and put it up to places like power sector. The power sector has a capability of having a knock-on effect on employment. If our cottage industries, and some of these industries are moribund, and who are even trying to move out of Nigeria, some moving out because of power situation, we definitely come back. And you find out that a lot of our population will be employed. For them to call it a disaster, I don't look at the entire document as being, we might have areas of disagreement.